Now, the bandwagon, as they say, was getting heavy. Everyone started to jump on the bandwagon again.
Portland is not in a position to try to come back, and he should just kind of leave that alone.
Stop being satisfied with mediocre performances.
I don't like it. Plain and simple, I really don't like it. An all-star game just shows how much they just kind of continue to placate the players and their lackadaisical efforts on the court.
You really sparked my interest, and I'm sure that of many others. Alistair Albert, thank you very much.
Hello and welcome to a new episode of Baseline to Baseline with Alistair and Orain. I am Alistair Albert, and of course my co-host here with me, Orain Buchanan, as usual. We coming into episode 6 right now. If you missed episode 5, you need to go check it out. We had some really good topics here, giving a lovely tribute to Chris Paul, who announced his retirement last week. So we had a little bit of a retrospective of his career and, talking about how well he's done and how much he's elevated teams. Had a little bit of a rant about Lawrence Frank and whether or not I think he should probably be on the hot seat for, the disappointing start for the Clippers, this year and, just over the last couple of years. And also we discuss our MVPs, Orain was on Team SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and I was on Team Jokic. So if you want to go check that out, like I always say, you could get that on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or check us out on YouTube. Just search Baseline to Baseline with Alistair and Orain, and you should find our episodes all there. Everything just comes up for you. So today we're going to have, of course, another lovely show where we have some really interesting topics for you coming in. And I think the first one we want to jump right into is the return of the king, LeBron James. What we did in episode 1, we spoke a little bit about that. But of course, with the season about to start, LeBron wasn't playing. He had this sciatica issue. We went really in depth with our medical experts, Dr. Edmund Reaves, who kind of spoke about his medical condition and what we thought could probably have led to the issues that he had over the summer and him missing the games that he is. But here he is, alas, season 23 has begun. 4 games in, looking really good. All of those games have been won by the Los Angeles Lakers, and he seems to be fitting in really well at the moment. Averaging right now, 16.5 points per game, 5 rebounds, 8.3 assists on 49% shooting in a career low 32 minutes. Orain, what have you seen so far from LeBron with his start with the Lakers? He looks like he's fitting in really nicely. People were wondering how that would work out for Luka and Austin Reaves. 4-0, is this, something that we should expect continuing? We don't expect them to go perfect, but, is he in the lineup, doing the best for this team, and can they actually go really far with him now?
Well, yeah, the thing that has stood out for me the most is how well he has fit in. And I mean, I don't know why I was among those that was kind of skeptical about LeBron's return. But I think in his first interview after he made his debut, he said it best. He said, "Why are you guys questioning if I would have fit in perfectly? Like, I've been here 23 years. I mean, there's not a defensive scheme that LeBron has not seen. He has seen every box and one, every triangle and 2, every man-to-man coverage, every zone. So LeBron has seen every defensive scheme there is in the NBA. So that wasn't the question. The biggest takeaway for me, or setback for me, was, will LeBron take the third option coming back to the Lakers? As we said, I think it was episode 1 or 2. Luka should be 1. Austin Reaves should be 2. LeBron should be 3. That has been working well so far. I think that is why the Lakers have gone 4-0 in that stretch since LeBron has made his return. Also, what has stood for me, because I'm a numbers guy, 128 points per game. The Lakers are averaging since LeBron has returned. 127.7 is their offensive rating. So the numbers are high. They're not giving up a lot of points in the grand scheme of things when it comes to the NBA. So I think that has worked well. And the Lakers and LeBron are perfectly poised, second in the Western Conference now.
Yep.
And I think that this is the perfect spot for the Lakers. And LeBron James has just fit in seamlessly, and I'm very pleased about that. I mean, I wasn't questioning if he would have fit in perfectly. My thing is, will LeBron just take a backseat to AR-15 and Luka Magic? That was just my biggest concern. He has done that. He has ticked all the boxes. He has answered all the questions, and I'm perfectly fine with how the thing has made it.
Yeah, awesome. And I think, it's a small sample size. Like we say, it's just 4 games in. But like you say, he's fitting really perfectly. And when we had the initial discussions, I think episode 1 or episode 3, when you came back, I believe, you did say exactly that. You think it was a matter of him just taking that backseat. You cannot expect LeBron James to be averaging over 25 points or whatever it is. If you're looking for that, or depending on that, the Lakers would be in trouble. And he's come in and he's done exactly as he said in that interview. And as you said, he's come in, tried to fit in, passing the ball really well. And, he's just fitting in, 16.5 points. From the time LeBron entered the league, he was averaging over 20 points a game. So, him averaging this low amount of points, and just 32 minutes a game, it's where he should be at this age. In fact, most people who are close to his age kind of end up at like 20 something minutes anyway. So he's probably still a little bit high when you think about comparative guys who have been older playing in the league. But he's still, of course, playing at an elite level, in transition, dunking on guys, blocking shots at the rim and everything. But there's some interesting little stats I wanted to kind of go through here. Looking at Basketball Reference is a place that I obviously go for all my stats and everything. They've kind of done a little bit of a redesign of the website. I kind of helped out with that as well. I kind of was on the research team where we kind of decided how navigation would go. So if you go on to Basketball Reference, you can kind of see what the changes are with that. But looking at the on-off split, so we're thinking about the minutes where LeBron has been on the court for the 4 games that he is, and the minutes that he hasn't been there. The Lakers have played, where are the numbers? 130 minutes with LeBron so far, 734 without him, right? The on-off splits for him, by far, with LeBron on the court, offensively, they're better. So when we think about the offensive rating of the team, that's the amount of points that they score per 100 possessions in a game, they're plus 15 with LeBron in. So, he's actually adding to their offensive productivity with him on the court. They are minus 2.7 with turnovers, meaning they're actually more efficient with the ball. So they're not turning it over as much. Austin Reaves and Luka Doncic are not forcing the issue too much. LeBron kind of handling a little bit of the ball handling possessions is kind of helping them be a little more efficient with the basketball. And they're also plus 3 in assists. So the ball is moving a little more, not a huge amount, but the ball is moving more. So you could see a net add or additive of having LeBron in. The concerning thing for me were the defensive stats. Looking at LeBron coming back into the fold, they're minus 2.9 on total rebounds, minus 1.4 in steals, and minus 1.7 in blocks. Now, those numbers are kind of small. They're not huge. But what that says to me is there's a little bit of standing round. And one of the criticisms of LeBron has been in his older age there'll be times you could see he takes defensive plays off. A guy coming to the zone and he'll step back and whatever it is. So the defensive numbers are starting to show a little bit of lackadaisical efforts with him on the court. Now, this doesn't spell trouble. They're on a 4-game streak, win streak with him back in. It's very early in the season. He's kind of trying to get rust off and get back into a groove. 16.3 points, like we said, for LeBron is not what we expect from him normally, but this is probably where we'd like him to stay, maybe, not expending too much. But, we think that there's probably some little bit of improvement that could still happen there. But the main thing is Luka Doncic and Austin Reaves are still producing elite level. Austin Reaves right now is averaging 28.5 points this season, and Luka Doncic is leading the league at 35.1 and 9.4 assists, which is second in the league right now. So the guys are doing tremendous with him, and having LeBron back, having that quarterback, someone who could shout out, plays, read the defenses coming in out of timeouts and everything. Like you say, he knows every single defense and offensive play kind of, coaches are trying to put in. So having him, of course, is a net additive, but there's still a few things that they need to actually do a little better with as well.
I mean, you have to want it as well because, as I said, LeBron is going to take the back seat to who he thinks wants it.
Mm.
So he has made his return. Luka Doncic will be Luka Doncic. I mean, this guy is elite from since Dallas Mavericks days. Even before that, when he was in Slovenia,
Yeah.
he knows how to play. He's been a professional since age 15. He can play. Austin Reaves, ever since he made his rookie season, he has all the tools to become a great in this modern NBA. So LeBron has seen that. I mean, guys are producing on the court. So I just think this is the best way the Lakers can actually make a good run in the postseason. To just have those two going at it in the regular season, and then LeBron can bring his offensive weapon, his offensive artillery, in the postseason, and then the guys can just take it from there. So I just think that this is where the Lakers can produce their best basketball, having LeBron as their third offensive weapon early in the season. To just get his legs underneath him, get him back to full fitness, and then have a crack at all the juggernauts in the Western Conference.
And what's been really good, to just add to what you're saying as well, is the offensive, just the team confidence has grown since he's been out. So that's why you're seeing guys like Austin Reaves stepping up. This is why you're seeing DeAndre Ayton fitting in really nicely and kind of being able to produce as much. So having him probably just continuing to motivate those guys to continue to play how they were playing will just be perfect for them moving forward. So what we all kind of have to look out for Lakers or Lakers fans is the continued health, proper load management of LeBron and the rest of the guys as well, and them just continuing to grow. Who's been really good for me on that team as well, and it's nice to see how energetic he's been. Well, he's always been that, but Jackson Hayes has played really well as well. He's the kind of, rim running slasher that Luka always loves playing with as well. So DeAndre gives a little bit of that, DeAndre Ayton, but when you have Jackson Hayes comes in, the energy doesn't drop off at all. And, he's active at the rim, he's getting lobs and alley-oops and everything. And, that's going to serve them well. It gives them another dimension to their offense, which is really good. In my preseason power rankings, I had the Lakers around the 9th spot. At this moment, November 30th, it's still really early. They kind of jump up maybe to about 4th for me right now, just behind the Rockets, OKC, and the Nuggets for me. That's my opinion. But, that the fact is they're rising, and if they continue like this and LeBron stays, in this mode that he is, the Lakers will be in a perfect position to go into the playoffs when that time comes. So that's our little assessments of LeBron coming in. He's been doing good so far, and we love to see how it continues with more sample size minutes continuing. This is, of course, all very new for LeBron, being in this kind of condition, being 41 years old, coming up to that. So let's see how he continues as the time moves forward. So, second topic we want to go on to, of course, we talk about the Lakers and we go on to the arch nemesis, the Boston Celtics. The other team that, they've been battling over for years, for decades. And the Boston Celtics, you might think, why talk about the Celtics? They're not really doing really well. They're 10-9, they're middling, over 500 team. But speaking with Orion before we came on to record, the one thing I wanted to discuss was over the last 2, 3, maybe 3, 4 years, the talk has always been about, should we trade Jaylen Brown? Should we trade Jayson Tatum? And I think it's been really interesting to see where they're at right now without Jayson Tatum, a middling team. And I think what this team has shown so far is that they need the both of them. Jaylen Brown on his own has been good. He's averaging something like over 28 points this season. Yeah, 28.8 points this season, 5.6, 5.8 rebounds, 4.5. He's actually shooting better efficiency, 51% from the floor without Jayson Tatum on there, compared to 46% last season, which is interesting. I thought he actually would have, his efficiency would have gone down, taking more shots. But the team, is not the same. Yes, Al Horford is gone. Drew Holiday is no longer there, so the team construction is different. But to expect Jaylen Brown to carry that team into some level of, top East teams, it just hasn't been that. So I think the drop-off justifies them needing each other. So I hope this is an opportunity for people who are the detractors of the Celtics and that tandem could just use this as justification that they need to play together. What do you see? Does what I say make sense, in terms of them playing together? Do you think it's something that they probably still need to look at further down the line, or do they need to coexist for the Boston Celtics to be elite?
I mean, for me, it's not cause for concern because they're currently ninth in the East, right?
Yeah.
A 5-6 game win streak with couple slippages in the Eastern Conference
Mm-hmm.
would actually propel this team to mid-table, like fourth, fifth in the East,
Mm-hmm.
possibly third. So I don't think it's cause for concern. The major cause for concern, though, I mean, there's some side, is that how well can Jaylen Brown bring this team? I
Right.
mean, you have guys that are very good players, but they're not good leaders.
Mm.
Jason Tatum is showing us that he's not only a good player, but he's also a very good leader. Because if, say, for instance, Jaylen Brown was the one injured, not wishing injured anyone, but
Mm-hmm.
say Jaylen Brown was the one out and Jason Tatum was on this team, after 19 games, would the Celtics have been 10-9?
It's a hypothetical. We would never know, but who knows? And just by what
Yeah.
I'm saying, I actually think they'll probably be in the same position. Jason Tatum is really good and has probably been what people would say the more talented player, but many people will argue that Jaylen Brown is actually the more grittier player and the harder, hard-nosed player, which kind of needs to make that team run. So
Yeah, so for me, I think that would have been a better position if Tatum was actually the one here.
you
But
think
I
so?
mean, I think so. But
Right.
he's not here, so this is where the Celtics are. 19
Mhm.
It's not down to what no one can say is that it's down to coaching because a lot of times in the NBA, when you have teams struggling, going through a funk, the coach is normally the one that gets all the lights directed at him. No
Yeah.
one can say that about Joe Mazzulla. Ever since he came in 2022, the
Mm-hmm.
following year he was voted the what? Coach of the in the East All-Star game. He
Yeah.
was a coach in the All-Star game, meaning he was the best coach in the Eastern Conference.
Yep.
A year later, he was the NBA champion.
Mm-hmm.
So he's shown year after year that he's progressing and he's elevating after every season.
That's it.
I mean, he has to work with what he has. I mean, this is what the Boston Celtics has at their disposal. So
Mhm.
he's not getting the best out of them. And it's early days. As I said to guys, it's early days where we're just leaping over into December now. Things are starting to take shape. Then you go January, February, All-Star break. Teams start to get into their own now. So
Mhm.
I think it's not cause for concern yet for the Celtics because has it been confirmed that Tatum is out for the entire season? No. He's making progress. I mean, I don't expect him to be his recovery because that can lead to potential more harm.
Yeah.
But I think for him, take his time, get fit. I mean, with all the medicine and surgery and everything. No, I mean, we've seen guys coming back better
Mm-hmm.
after injuries like this. I mean, Kevin Durant is one for me.
Biggest
Kevin Durant has
example.
been much better after his Achilles injury to me
Mm-hmm.
than before. So I think he just needs to take his time, come back, and then who knows what he can do for the Celtics. I still see the Celtics as a fourth, fifth seed in the East based on how things are shaping up. So I think if he comes back, the team gets healthy, they can still be a force to reckon with over there. Because when you show yourself and you bring what you have accomplished to the table,
Mm-hmm.
teams will be wary of you because they'll be questioning like, no, let's be mindful. This is the Boston Celtics that we're talking about. This group has won an NBA championship, so let's take them very seriously.
Yeah.
No matter where the Warriors finish in the Western Conference, any team going up against the Golden State Warriors in the NBA playoffs are going to be wary of that Draymond Green, that Steph Curry duo. I see a lot of things going on social media, on the internet about Draymond Green and the disrespect that has been levied on him in the past few weeks.
Yeah.
About he's not top 40. Let's cut the crap. Cut the crap.
Kenyon
If Draymond
Martin.
Green
Kenyon
was on
Martin.
this Warriors team, I don't see the Warriors team winning 4 championships. Mark you, they won 2 with Kevin Durant, fine.
Mhm.
But every team needs that bulldog.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's give respect where respect is due.
Mhm.
Draymond Green is that driving force for the Golden State Warriors. Same with the Boston Celtics. Jayson Tatum, I mean, he doesn't have that in-your-face personality,
Mhm.
but it's just like a Kevin Durant. They make the statement with the ball in hand,
With the ball in hand. True.
right? So they lead with the ball in hand rather than lead with their voices. That's like a Steph Curry leadership as well. Not the most vocal person, but when I'm on the court, just follow my lead.
True. True.
Just follow my lead. So he's a big miss for the Boston Celtics, and we just hope that for their sake, he'll be back soon and he'll be back healthier than when he left.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing to see, what the impact has been with him not there. But like you say, it's still really early on in the season. I actually find it really interesting you say that they could still probably be a fourth or fifth seed even without him to end the season. Is that what you were saying about fourth to fifth seed? Okay, so that's
Yeah, yeah,
the season continuing on. You expect things to level out and the championship metal kind of taking them back up where they need to be. And that would be interesting if that actually plays out. I'm not sure, like to me, I'm not sure if I'd see it that way, but I don't blame you for thinking that because they have everything in terms of the coaching. Like you said, you cannot blame the coaching. This is a guy who's now become, seasoned with the experience as he has, champion and everything. So he's seen everything and he has a really good coaching staff around him, guys like Sam Cassell and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I suppose as things settle and those other teams, the Toronto Raptors and the Detroits and all these people who are rising and falling, maybe the Celtics might kind of rise back up to the top in the top four, top five, like you're saying. So that's yet to be seen. Some, of course, I was on a stats check, the last couple of days, as we try to get ready for this episode, and it's really interesting. And same on and off splits. We look at what's happened with Jayson Tatum being there and not. This season, there are quite a few stats that are indicators of how important he is to this team. When you think about 3 points attempts, they're always really top. This is a team that's going to be gunning as soon as they come down the court. They're looking for opportunities to shoot the ball really early in the shot clock. This year they're still third in 3 point attempts. Last year they were first. Their 3 point percentage has dropped. They're now
yeah.
less. They're below average. They're 19th in the league at 3 point percentage, where last year they were in the top 10. So Jayson Tatum, opens out the floor a little more and gives people some more space to shoot. And he himself is quite a really good shooter himself. They're not really great in 2 point attempts. Of course, like we said, they're taking quite a lot of shots away from the basket. Personal fouls, they are now 30th in the league. Right, 30th in the league. Last, they're not getting many fouls called. With Jayson Tatum, they were second, which is interesting because he of course takes those 3 point shots quite a lot as well. But he is aggressive to the basket. Him shooting the basketball allows Jaylen Brown to get into the zone as well, and that sort of stuff. And of course, when you have guys like Kristaps Porzingis and all of that, there's more attempts at the bucket, that are there as well. And their assists have kind of dropped down, and you would expect that because guys are now keying in on Jaylen Brown, where you would expect maybe he'll pass the ball more, but the ball has stuck a little more with him, with Jayson Tatum not being in the lineup. They're 25th in assist and 16th when he's in. So for me, the final analysis is they do need each other. So all of this talk about Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown, let's trade them. I suppose the main concern for the new ownership coming in is that those bloated contracts, 300 million, over 5-year deals that they have, and how that's going to work with the cap and the team that they're going to put around them. That will be the concern. Maybe that might cause them to break it up. But
always come down to money.
Always going to come down to money, but when you talk about team construction and whether or not the skill complement is perfect for each other, it absolutely is. And, I think that's what's showing there. Of course, like we said, I think in episode 1, when we spoke about all of the injuries, it is alleged, and Jayson Tatum himself has said he's not training this hard to sit out the season. He wants to come back. And I think he's looking at March for what has been said. He hasn't said that definitively, but some reports kind of indicate he might be back by sometime in March after the All-Star break. So when he comes back, if they're the fourth or the fifth seed, that's such a boost for them to get your 25, 26 point per game scorer back in the lineup. A potential MVP candidate, over his career, perennial all-star coming back and kind of helping that team. So let's see what happens with the Celtics. They're 9th right now from 19 games. They're 10-9, like we said. Last season, at this point, they were 16-3 with Jayson Tatum. So you could see again, second in the East, how impactful, having this guy is on their team. So they've dropped down a little bit, but many people expected that. So kudos to Jaylen Brown doing what he's doing, 28.8 points in the season so far. But they're clearly missing Jayson Tatum. And on to our final topic here today. This was one that, we kind of went a little back and forth with, because I was like, should we talk about this? This team is, I have a buddy of mine, I'm going to give him a little shout out, Kevin Martial, a guy from St. Lucia. He lives in Toronto, or lives in Canada, wherever he is in Canada. And he was like, guys, you guys are not talking about the Toronto Raptors. You talk, of course, I made my prediction about the Detroit Pistons making the finals. And he was like, Detroit, what about the Raptors? What about the Raptors? I was like, nah, I don't trust the Raptors. But respect due to them, because they have been on a tear the last 10 games, 9-1, losing their last game against the Charlotte last night, the Charlotte Hornets. But the Raptors have been really good. They're second in the East right now, 14-6 in the first 20 games of the season. Brandon Ingram has breathed some fresh air into this team. I know he's playing like almost at his all-star level from when he was in New Orleans Pelicans.
But you know why? You know why?
Tell me why.
It's simple. That's when, listen, you see, having a good female by your side.
I knew you were going there.
Let me tell you what. Ever since it became public that Brandon Ingram, the notorious BI3,
yeah, that's a new name.
The public relationship with Gorilla.
Yeah,
I tell you, Brandon Ingram game has gone from ordinary to extraordinary.
He's balling.
Every night when the Raptors are playing and Bay is sitting courtside, Brandon Ingram transforms into prime time DeMar DeRozan.
It's true. It's true.
His relationship is working. And I love it for them. But I tell you what.
Well, the funny thing is, we had a joke about Klay Thompson a couple of episodes back, and whether or not that's affecting him. But this one is working for him.
Yeah. This one is ticking.
Yeah. So
you have 20 at points per game now. You're second in the East. You have in buzzer beat. Listen.
Yeah.
Buzzer beater against the Indiana Pacers, right? When Pascal Siakam was guarding, I never heard Brandon Ingram spoke the way he spoke after that.
The emotion came out. Yeah.
Brandon Ingram said, well, Pascal Siakam was guarding me well. He was at my mercy.
Yeah.
Like, where did this confidence come from? I think it's good for him. It's good for the team. Because, back when he was at the New Orleans Pelicans, you always saw signs of Brandon Ingram. He has the potential to do this. He has the potential to do that. But no, I think having this team being around those young guys, I think this is bringing up the best in Brandon Ingram. And you've seen every facet of this game. When if you showed me this Raptors team on paper and said, what do you expect of this Raptors team after 20 games? I would probably say at best 10-10. Because on paper, their names, it doesn't scream at you.
Yeah.
Emmanuel Quickly, Jacoby Walters at the guard, Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes at forward, Jakob Poeltl at the center. It's not names that will stand out, that will scream at you like success or but what? Playing together, that's the importance, high importance in the NBA now. Playing together, having guys understand their roles and maximizing their potential at every position. And this is what Darko Rajakovic is doing with the Toronto Raptors, and it is working wonders. This team, they are showing signs of the Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan, DeMar Carroll, the Norman Powell. They're showing signs of that Toronto Raptors back there. And I'm loving it for the team up north. So thanks to Glorilla, she's bringing out the best in BI3, and we love it, man. It's prime time basketball up north.
Views from the six are positive right now. It's great. Like it's really great to see them coming back. But the funny thing is, you reference those teams, and we all know what happens with those teams. They kind of got to a plateau, and they just couldn't get past that. And that's the struggle that I had with this Toronto Raptors team. So when Kevin, my guy, kind of messaged me and told me, "Oh, we need to talk about the Raptors," I like, "No, we don't. Nah, I don't want to talk about the Raptors." But there's a term that we use in the Caribbean. I don't know if you use it in Jamaica or in the term Pappyshow.
Yep.
Something is a Pappyshow. The
Yep.
Raptors were always a Pappy show to me. You know, after Kawhi Leonard left, you know, they had their little moments where, you know, you just couldn't expect anything from them. Scotty Barnes came in and everything, and you know, he's tried his best. His career has blossomed. You know, he's become an all-round player, a little bit of a Giannis type player, you know, kind of do a little point forward sort of thing going on. But I just you could never really rate them as a team that could be contending in any sort of way. Of course, this is just 20 games, and we're not really sure what's going to happen. But the statistics so far show, you know, that they are a team that you should kind of watch out for, especially in the environment that we are in the East right now with the injuries with the Celtics, and you know, teams kind of trying to make their way and position in, you know, to try to make themselves, you know, get as far as they can this season. The fact that you mentioned Brandon Ingram, you know, of course, this is the person you have to jump to because he's the leader of this team right now, I suppose, alongside Scotty Barnes. This is the most aggressive, and you know, thanks to Bay, like you say, sitting courtside. This is the most aggressive I've seen Brandon Ingram play. You know, this guy going on and dunking on guys and the emotion that he kind of lets out and everything. I've always seen him as a finesse player. A lot of people have compared him to Kevin Durant coming into the league. You know, this thin, wiry, lanky guy who likes to shoot step back shots and everything. Brandon Ingram is going to the rim with reckless abandon, dunking on guys, screaming on guys, flexing on guys, and that sort of stuff. And it's interesting to see that personality switch and confidence, you know, being brought out. And I think it's become very contagious to the rest of the team. Scotty Barnes always plays really hard, but then you have the rest of the guys, Jakob Poeltl, who has always been a very good center in the league. RJ Barrett, of course, you know, these guys are really solid. The guys who came over from New York, Emmanuel Quickly and all of them, you know, they're playing really good. Even the guys on the bench, you know, playing really hard and everything. And they've gotten them to this point, a 10-game, almost a 10-game win streak before the loss last night. And it's really interesting to see. And of course, I made my prediction about the Detroit Pistons, and you had to do a little bit of a comparison with them. And actually, all of the team stats, they're actually neck and neck with the Detroit Pistons right now in quite a few stats. So in terms of field goal percentage, the Raptors are actually third. The Detroit Pistons are sixth. 3-point attempts, they don't take as many. They're 27th. The Detroit Pistons are 28th. So they're kind of trying to get to the rim quite a lot. And we see that with how they're playing. Free throw attempts, they need to do a little better at that. 15th, really average in the league right now, but they're third in assists. So, you know, they're doing everything that they can with, you know, Brandon Ingram and Scotty Barnes leading the way. RJ Barrett averaging almost 20 points a game. So you have three players who are almost at 20 points per game. Brandon Ingram at 21.9, Barnes at 20, and RJ Barrett at 19.4. And the production is there, Emmanuel Quickly, and of course you have Poeltl, like I mentioned, and the guy, I'm just going to shorten his name, the power forward, Mamu, the long surname guy who comes off the bench. Yes, I cannot pronounce his name to save my life, but you have 6 players on that team averaging double digits. You know, that's to tell you the ball is moving around and guys are fitting and working together to kind of be a really productive and feisty team. I think this is the word that I'm going to use for them. They're a very feisty team and they're going to give teams a lot of trouble. Pappyshow still kind of comes up for me in the sense that I don't see them getting maybe past the second round, but this is me disrespecting a team that is showing that they could do a lot more than that. And you know, you have to kind of give them the road and the pathway, and you know, to try to chart their own path and see what they could do. Brandon Ingram, of course, is just a new addition from the offseason, and maybe, you know, he could kind of propel them. So let's see what happens with the Raptors. And you know what? Good on them. Who's the GM now? Is Masai Ujiri still there, or he left? I keep on thinking that he's left.
Masai Ujiri.
Yeah, he's still there, is he?
Yes.
Still there?
Yes.
Okay, so you know, good on him. You know, he's managed to kind of get this team back afloat. You know, they're not kind of going to be dwellers in the East, you know, trying to make it through the play-in. They're looking like they're ready to kind of be at you know, in the home court advantage, you know, rankings, you know, and entering into the playoffs. And let's see, can they kind of hold off the Boston Celtics, the Atlanta Hawks, and all those teams coming up behind them, the Orlando Magic, etc.
think it's Bobby Webster. The name, it just slipped me. Bobby Webster.
Is the new GM. I was like, yeah, I know Messiah had left, but Bobby Webster,
New
yeah, so
GM of the Raptors. But just to piggyback on what you're saying, you probably, I think you said for the playoffs, they're a second round team.
Their second what?
Second round team, that's what you said?
That's why I think they're at second round.
All right. That's further away. But watch them in the NBA Cup.
Right.
Raptors, because they are in the quarterfinals now. They'll play the Knicks in the quarterfinals of the NBA Cup.
Yep.
Have the Raptors winning that.
Okay.
So
interesting.
I think they are the team to beat in the NBA Cup. So you can pin that. The current Raptors for the NBA Cup.
Awesome. So there's your prediction right there, and we're going to see this really soon because the NBA Cup is going on. I think in the next couple of days, we're going to get into the finals. Of course, the NBA Cup, we wanted to talk about this, but we'll wait till the end of the tournament comes up to see who's the winner. But, this has been really great to see these guys, get extra motivation to play even harder. This is a part of the season where you see a lot of teams not playing hard enough, and teams are going at it right now. The Raptors are right there, like you say. You have the OKC Thunder, you have Detroit. No, I think Detroit was eliminated actually, but there are quite a lot of teams that are still in it for the money. What is $500,000 per player on the team, and everything that these guys could win and benefit from if they win. So this is episode 6. We had a lovely chat here. So like we said, we talked a little bit about LeBron, the Celtics, and the Raptors. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you think in the comment sections on the platforms that we upload. So tell us what you think about what we said. And of course, like, subscribe, share, and everything. It's been a great experience so far doing this with Oreen, up to episode 6, and we have a lot more things coming on with you. Looking out for you, the guests, the viewers of the show. Some interesting guests that we have planned coming up, so stay tuned for that. And we'll see you on the next one. Episode 7 coming right up. We're going to watch what happens this week, and next topic's coming for you really soon. So Oreen, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Viewers, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, everywhere. Just get it. Just follow. Do what you need to do. Join the family like we always say, and we'll see you next time.
From the hardwood floor to the spotlight glow, breaking down the stats every fan should know. Trace, place, legends in the making. Every headline, no mistaking. Fast breaks, crossovers, highlight reels. What's real strategy, what's hype and feels. East to west, we call it straight. From draft night buzz to finals fade. Baseline to baseline, we cover it all. Big plays, bold takes, the rise and the fall. Baseline to baseline, we're